Hello, my name is Lilian Silva. I'm the Forage specialist at Clemson University, and today I'll be talking a little bit about strategies to manage costs of production in forage systems with the high prices of inputs that we're currently facing. So let's get started. Generally, in the Southeast US, we have our forage livestock systems based on perennial grasses. Those include Bahia grass, Southwest and Bermuda grass, and they require proper fertilization management to support forage production and quality to sustain animal performance targets that we often have for our livestock operations. With the increasing of prices of input, we will likely face challenges to be able to supply proper rates of those inputs back in our systems this year and probably for the next year as well. So, however, the lack of necessary input can lead to not only reduced forage production and quality, but also can damage our pastures and affect their persistence. And for this reason, it is important to have in place a management plan to be able to cope with the challenges for these next growing seasons. One of the main recommendations that we can be implementing this year is to make sure that we're soil testing our pastures. Without the soil test results, any fertility decision that we're making is only a guess. And when we have the proper nutrient levels and the soil pH on that area, we can actually implement a cost-effective plan for fertilizer input and for lime input that's going to be helping to minimize those costs and not be putting more nutrients, for example, than needed, or even the nutrients that we don't need to be putting if any of them is high or excessive right on that soil. So when we do a soil test on our report, we are going to have the soil pH and the nutrient levels that were on that soil. And we will receive some recommendations regarding lime and the nutrients for the expected potential production for the forage that we have on our pastures. Lime controls acidity and maintain optimal nutrient level availability, and it is particularly important when we are going to be managing our pastures to a high level or using legumes. It's important that we're really making sure that we have the pH on the level that it should be, because that's going to affect the nutrient availability, but also the ability for the plants to persist over time. Lime takes time to react in the soil, so we should be applying with few months ahead of time at least when we expect to be planting a new area or that the forage available there is going to be growing, just because we can allow the lime to react in the soil. And when we receive, this is an example of a soil report. So when we receive the soil report, we are going to have the main nutrients listed here and classified on the range that they are in the soil. We would like to see phosphorus and potassium being on the sufficient range, because that's what it's going to be best for the plant, so the plant can actually be absorbing those nutrients. And but also when we do a soil sampling, soil testing frequently, we are able to monitor those levels. For example, in this case, we are seeing here a soil testing that we have both phosphorus and potassium on the high range. So this would be an example where we would be able to decrease the rate that we're going to be applying of those two nutrients. But also it's going to be allowing us to use a different source than a blended fertilizer. For example, when we have a blended fertilizer that's, let's say, 10-10-10, we would have nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus there. On this soil test here that we're seeing, for example, for this pasture, we would be able to use a nitrogen-based fertilizer to put only N for at least a portion of the growing season, just to balance out that high level already that we have of phosphorus and potassium on that soil. When we start having too high towards excessive range of nutrients on soil, we can have some environmental issues. And also, if we keep putting back those nutrients when they are already excessive in the soil, it's going to be a cost that we are going to be having for that system without actually needing to, and then be more prone to lose that nutrient through leaching runoff and other environmental factors as well. For hay fields, we do need to be monitoring those nutrients in the soil more closely, just because we're going to be exporting those nutrients away from that system, as opposed to a grazing system where we have animals grazing and they are going to be putting some of that nutrients that they just ate back into that system. Here we have some just general numbers, but it is important for you to be aware that this is going to be different for the type of management and production level that you are going to be having on your pastures, on your hayfields actually. So you need to be monitoring those both on the plants and in the soil, just to make sure that you're replenishing in the soil enough to achieve those potential or expected forage production that you'd like to. With this, I conclude what I had for today. This is Forage Drops. This is a short series, video series. My email is here on the screen. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer, and I hope I see you on the next video. Thank you so much.